Welcome back to Edgework here on the Hammer Betting Network, a daily live NHL show Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Today is Thursday, April 13th, the second last day of the NHL's regular season. So, Money, it's been a long season, an exciting season, a fun season, but how are you feeling here? We're at the second last day. You brought up to me ahead of the show here, and it makes sense why there's two games tomorrow night out of nowhere, but today was probably supposed to be the last day. But how are you feeling today on the second last day with this jam-packed schedule?
I'm good. I'm ready to go. Looking forward to the playoffs. Yeah, this is the time where legends are made, Zach. Let's get to it. Let's go.
Well, I got a question for you before we go through all these. You know how, like, in the preseason, there's all this opportunity, people say, like, especially for NFL betting and then NHL betting, you kind of have these opportunities pop up where you can get roster information pretty quickly, react to it, start to take advantage of some of the lines that are out there. Now, you kind of get towards the end of the season, you have all these teams resting players. They know they're in the playoffs. Some of these teams know the spots that they're in, Boston, Toronto, Tampa, for example. Is this kind of like a preseason schedule here for you? If you're treating this as a bettor, you're looking at this where you're going to get all these teams resting guys. You have all this information up in the air that you don't quite know yet, or is this still kind of like it is throughout the remainder of the regular season or the rest of the regular season?
I think that it's mostly information based at this point. When you have, if it's not completely like the preseason because there still are teams that are playing for something. So if you put those teams aside and you just focus on the teams that are either out of it or not playing for this year but playing for the future, and you're able to get into the coaches' heads or like their comments or what's coming out of the individual teams' camps. I think that if you can jump on the information, that's more important at this point of the season than anything numbers based.
All right, so we're going to go through the entire schedule here today. We'll go game by game. If you have any questions, please make sure to send them in the chat. But if you're going to ask us questions, I mean, the easiest thing you can do is hit that like button and subscribe to the Edgework HQ channel here. So after you subscribe, take 2 seconds and smash the like button like So Money has up on the screen there right beside me. Smash the like button. Show some support to the show. That would be greatly appreciated. And fire away your questions. Tell us what bets you guys have, and we'll break them down. But throughout the course of the show here, we're going to have news popping up about who's starting, who's playing, who's not playing. So we will react to that and talk about games that we would or would not bet here. And a reminder, all the bets that we give out on the show, Jason Josh here saying, just broke my keyboard. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. But we will go through all the games on the board, and we will track all the bets that are given out on the show here today and recap them at the very end. But for transparency purposes, you can see all the bets that we have placed throughout the course of this season in the BetStamp app, which you can find on iOS, Android, as well as on web. You can find us there in particular in the Find Better section as Edgework HQ. And throughout the course of the show here today, you might see sportsbooks that you don't have. Well, the easiest way to improve as a sports bettor is to use multiple sportsbooks and always get the best odds. We recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp to do so. BetStamp compares odds across every sportsbook for games, futures, and player props. You can save time and money by checking BetStamp before you bet. You can download the app today as well. Like I said, in iOS and Android, you can sign up on web. And if you see a book here today that you don't have, you want to bet at, and you want to sign up for, please make sure to sign up for the new sports book by checking out the offers available at betstamp.app/edgework or by clicking the link in the description of the show here today. If you do sign up using those links, it helps support the show. So money. Let's get right into it here. We'll start first and foremost, the New Jersey Devils and the Washington Capitals game here. New Jersey has an opportunity. They are currently second in the Metro, 1 point back of Carolina. They're both sitting on 81 games played right now. They have an opportunity to leapfrog Carolina and take over first in the Metro with a win, as long as Carolina does not get any points here tonight. I actually believe that with a regulation time win for the New Jersey Devils, and if even if Carolina gets themselves 1 point and there's a tie, the Devils do get the regulation wins tiebreaker, so they would take over first in the Metro there. You're looking at the Devils minus 175 tonight on the road at the Capitals. Would you be laying this price at the Devils?
So I think the Devils obviously are going to be going full throttle here. Whereas the Capitals, we've seen them kind of play out the string here. They did play well against the Islanders, but we've mentioned this several times this year. The Capitals do match up well against the Isles. There's just sometimes teams just match up better. So I'm not really looking for much out of Washington here. However, I think that price on the Devils accurately captures the state of both teams right now. So I wouldn't lay on the Devils. I have no interest in the Capitals. I'm cheering for the Devils for personal reasons, but I think that I think that this is a fair line here.
All right, so stay away from that one in terms of where the line's at right now. Probably fair bet into place. Is there anything that might move here today from information wise, or do we have all the information in this game?
We'll never have full information right now, but it looks like Ovi's in the morning skate. Unless if the Capitals decide to rest guys, which I would highly doubt. That would be the only thing that would move the needle. If Ovi's sitting and we get a minus 170 on the Devils, then yeah, that will be an edge there.
Right. Okay. Have Rich H asking Devils puck line here. I'll bring this up here on screen. Is there any way you'd have any interest in that? Plus 139 minus 1.5.
I don't think that's enough.
Okay.
Yeah, I would need more. Puck lines are really tough. Yeah, I think I would need more than that.
And a question for you: do you do much in regulation? Do you price those out at all yourself, or is that something you've gotten into?
Not yet. So I don't do much. I don't do much regulation unless if it's something that like really stands out for me, both on like a numbers level and on a subjective level.
Right.
In terms of non money line sides, I have gotten into a lot of plus 1.5 the last couple of years, and that's just because we've seen so many games where you have large favorites, but the games come down to one goal at the end, right? So
Right.
I do prefer the plus 1.5s more so than anything else that's non money line.
Okay. All right. So move on from that one. Leave it as is. Next game that we're looking at here, Detroit on the road at Tampa. Detroit coming into this one on a 4-game losing streak. They are 16, 19, and 5 on the road, 4, 5, and 1 in their last 10. Tampa Bay currently on a 4-game losing streak themselves. Third in the Atlantic. There's no opportunity to move up or down for them. Possibly an opportunity for some rest here for some guys heading into the playoffs. But obviously the rest versus rust debate comes in these last couple of games for teams heading into the playoffs. Now 27, 8, and 5 at home this season for the Lightning. Minus 238 tonight against the Detroit Red Wings. Is this price just a little too too expensive on Tampa Bay tonight?
It is, and this was something that I was waiting on. But Vasilevsky's going to get the start, and it
Yep.
looks like that that Tampa Bay is going to take this game seriously, as they should. This is a little bit different than past years where we've seen Tampa sometimes struggle near the end of the season, and then they're able to just turn it on. The difference this year is that they don't have as much depth and they're not as sound defensively. So it's really hard to just turn it on this year for them. So I do agree with them in taking this game seriously. With that said, that that kills any value that I was looking at. I did have interest in the Red Wings, but with Vasilevsky in goal and them taking it seriously, I will stay away. Detroit. The other thing about Detroit too, it looks like Larkin should be back, and I'm assuming Hellberg starts, who is an upgrade over Husso right now. Um, yeah, so I've got nothing here. I would have wanted Detroit. I will say though, Braden Point, he's at a milestone right
Yes,
now.
49.
Yeah, I so one thing I've been doing, and I've been trying to do some work on this, is that players who are close to their milestones for the season, looking at their shot props. So I would look at something like Braden Point over shots. Depends what we can get there. Two
Over
and a
two and
half.
a half minus 122 right now. So I'll tell you, I played Braden Point over 2.5 on Tuesday night's game against the Leafs, and I
Yeah,
believe he finished with 6.
yeah. So why
It
don't we
was
lock that in?
okay. We'll do
Yeah,
that. And I mean, I know this is obviously narrative based in this,
it
but
is.
the
Yeah,
like one thing that we heard as well was Stamkos ahead of that game
correct.
talking about these milestones and saying like it leaves a bitter taste in your mouth to be that close because you can round up and say, oh, you were there, but if you didn't actually hit it, you were never really there. And 50 goals, 100 points, those are big milestones to hit. So the team, I think, in an opportunity like this is going to be force feeding the guy. Like,
Yeah, and the thing is that like I've always maintained that there is a place for subjective analysis. Now, if it comes from yourself that you think something is going to happen, that's a little bit different than something coming out of the team
yeah,
that the team or the organization or the coach or the players, former players, they're telling you something that does happen,
yeah.
right? That's a lot different than you thinking something is going to happen.
Well, like, I mean, a little foreshadow for a couple games from now when we get there. Mitch Marner sitting on 99 points, Austin
Correct.
Matthews sitting on career 299, and it's not like this is the end of the world for him to get 299. It could happen in the regular season
Yeah.
next year, but like you have the double opportunity there for something of both
Yeah.
guys who are going to play. So,
Yeah. And like these players are telling us, they're explicitly telling us that these things matter to them.
yeah, I want
Right?
to get this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so there you go. We lock in the Braden Point over 2.5 shots on goal, minus 122. So that is that for that game. So moving on here to the next one. We are kind of motoring through these. There are a lot of games, so if you do have questions, please make sure to send them in the chat, and we'll try to bring those up and talk about them here on the show, as we did with the Devils game when you guys are asking about the puck line there from Daniel and Rich asking about regulation and puck line. So continue to talk about those things. But next game kind of does matter. We talk about opportunities to move up in the standings here. If the Florida Panthers defeat the Carolina Hurricanes tonight, they can launch themselves into the 7th position, kind of avoiding having to play Boston in the first round. You could actually match up against Carolina in the first round, where Carolina here, this one matters for them as well because they need to win here tonight to stay ahead of the New Jersey Devils. So we're looking at an actual game where it has double importance for both teams. We saw Paul Maurice the other day. So, Money, I don't know if you saw his quotes, but he was talking about depending on what happened with the Islanders game,
Yeah.
he could be in a spot here where they're going to put their best lineup forward. Looks like they'll likely be doing that here tonight. So with the Panthers minus 110 at home against Carolina, do you think that the Florida Panthers deserve to be favored here against the Canes?
I do, and I did bet this when we got confirmation that a line was going to start. So I think we can lock that in. You, as you mentioned, Maurice did state publicly that if the Islanders win, he will dress the regular lineup to finish seventh. Now he said it was to finish as high in the standings as they possibly can, but
Yeah.
we all know it's to avoid the Bruins. So
Yes.
I think I think it's the right call. And so like in terms of motivation and how seriously Florida's going to take this game, their lineup moves and the coaches' quotes are telling us that they are taking this game seriously. So that's great. So
Yeah.
so that part of it is taken care of. On the Hurricanes part, they haven't been playing their best hockey right now. And
Yeah.
honestly, if I was them, looking strictly at the matchups, I would rather play the Islanders than I would. Sorry, I would rather play the Rangers than I would the Islanders right now. So it's not the end of the world if they lose this game. Now they will never tell us that who they prefer to play, but if you and I can sit here looking at which matchups would be ideal for a certain team, um, they know that as well. So
Yeah.
now that's not to say they're not going to take this game seriously. I think they will. But where these teams are right now, with the way Florida is playing, with the way that Carolina is playing, I think the Panthers are a little bit short right now.
Yeah, it is it is kind of interesting because they will never tell us that, and it is kind of the inverse of like what we were saying about Paul Maurice, where it's like they're blatantly trying need to win this game to avoid
Yeah.
Boston, and like Carolina probably like you're right. They probably would rather play against the Rangers in terms of matchups and how the Rangers are playing versus how the Islanders are playing and coming into this one. So they're probably sitting there like, well, this one doesn't really matter. So they're kind of going the opposite way in Florida, where they're desperately looking for a win tonight. But yeah, they that will never be something that is said publicly.
And you could argue that well, they have a chance to win the division, and I do see that, but I think that it matters more for where certain teams are in their developmental cycle. So
Right.
I would think that New Jersey winning the division, a young team who hasn't done it before, who getting their first taste of the playoffs. Yes, I think that all hands on deck trying to win the division. For Carolina, who has had playoff disappointments, it's about how they perform in the playoffs at this point. So even if they win the division, they've been there before. It should be about matchups and getting the ideal road to get to where they need to go.
Yeah. All right. So this is pretty fun. I like this. Usually we have to go through and like I'm planning for like okay, this team has 15, 20, 25 games left. Like here's where they are in the standings, breaking that down. It doesn't really matter. We're sitting here like one game left. This is what happens if these things break down. Like looking at all the ways that this could possibly end for these these games and these teams in this final games here. But one game that does not matter really at all for anyone other than possibilities of moving down in the standings and getting closer to getting more lottery balls in that final lottery position for Connor Bedard for the Montreal Canadiens here. Boston on the road at Montreal. Boston coming into this one on a 7-game win streak. They are 38-2 on the road this year, 9-1 in their last 10. The Montreal Canadiens are in a 2-game losing streak. They did play last night, coming off a back-to-back here. They played last night against the Islanders. They're 17-20-3 at home, and this price is obviously reflected here. Plus 259 for the Montreal Canadiens. Plus 1.5 is even sitting at the plus 105. Is there any way you're getting involved in this game tonight, so money?
Not at this point. It doesn't look like the Bruins are sitting anyone. They're even possibly going with Swayman and Ned. I think that's the way that that they were leaning. I expect the Habs to go with Jake Allen. He hasn't played in a couple of weeks, and he was already in poor form when he was playing. So I will. I will stay away. This would be one of those games where I did have a view on the plus 1.5.
Right.
But with Allen and net, I'm not going to be on there.
Yeah, we did play the plus 1.5 on Montreal last night as well against the Islanders. Plus 123, we played that. Obviously, it gets to 4-2, I think was the final score in that one. So unfortunate that we missed out on that opportunity. But yeah. All right. So nothing in that game. And yes, I did see the question in the chat. They're asking about what So Money's bet was in the Florida Carolina game. It was the Florida Panthers money line minus 110 there. So Money, what would you play that to as well? I did not ask there.
Florida up to minus 117.
Okay. All right. So currently sitting at minus 110. That was pretty widely available. There was a bunch of books offering that still. So can check that out if you want to tail along. And again, we will recap all the picks at the very end of the show. But considering how many games there are today, I feel like this might take a little while to go through all these. So if you do have questions, I'll try to let people know, especially in the chat, if you did miss something there. Next game. Another game that doesn't really matter here tonight, unfortunately. The Ottawa Senators on the road at the Buffalo Sabres. Ottawa coming into this one on a 2-game win streak, 5-3-2 in their last 10. This one might mean more for Buffalo in terms of just seeing Devin Levi. I think he's expected to start tonight, if I'm correct in that one. I think he's expected to go for Buffalo and just giving the kid another opportunity to get in an NHL game. But currently sitting at Ottawa plus 120, Buffalo minus 133. Is there any way in this one, So Money, that you could find anything that is worthwhile to bet on between the Sabres and the Senators?
So they're in the morning skate. Craig Anderson is in the starters net.
Okay.
So yeah, so there's that, which I don't really have a problem with. I did. So we've talked about both of these teams playing out the season strong. Now, obviously, the Sabres, they did have something to play for, but the Senators have made a concerted effort to finish strong as well.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think we have to worry about the Senators' mindset here. For the Sabres, of course, they expressed disappointment about where they finished, um, and they're starting Anderson here, so it's really tough to get into their psyche for this game. Like a young team that it could go either way for them. Um, I thought that they would go with Levi here, which would be his
Yeah.
seventh start in 2 weeks, and that's an intense workload for a rookie. So I can see I can see what they're thinking. I think the Senators, with Craig Anderson in goal, I was a little bit surprised at the money that the Sabres took this morning. So I think a half on Ottawa. I did play them smaller, waiting on the Buffalo goaltending information, but I think I'm okay with keeping it small on Ottawa right now.
Okay, so we'll go half unit on Ottawa money line there at plus 120. Kind of interesting. I did think Levi was going to go here as well. I know Buffalo plays tomorrow night, but you think maybe there's an opportunity for him to go in that game? Because I know UPL played the other night.
Yeah. I thought they would give him the start at home and
Yeah.
go strong at home and then just tank it tomorrow. Like who cares about tomorrow in Columbus?
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so you go half unit on the Ottawa Senators money line there. I do want to remind people who are watching right now, if you are watching the show and you haven't hit that like button, please make sure to do so. Not enough people who are watching have hit like, and there's no reason for that. You can smash the like button, as So Money has up on the screen there. Smash the like button. And as well, if you're watching and haven't hit subscribe, please make sure to do so. So, moving on here, next game, the Toronto Maple Leafs on the road at the New York Rangers. And So Money, I'm just going to hand this one off to you in terms of some of the information that you were looking at tonight and waiting for, because we're currently seeing this one plus 112 for Toronto, minus 124 for the Rangers. It looks like we're probably going to get full strength teams on both sides, other than essentially Toronto's going to probably play Wool. I would assume that's what's going to happen here tonight. But outside of that, looks like everyone probably goes. But what information are you waiting on, and where do you kind of see this line going, and how do you play this throughout the day while you get that information?
So we've been talking about the Leafs quite a bit. They are playing the right way to get ready for the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Tampa Bay game was weird with all the power plays, which wasn't nice for my under there, but that wasn't great. But it was a weird situation there, and like I think both coaches talked about it that like they were surprised with the refs taking one player out of every scrum. So I guess that's getting ready for the playoffs. Who knows? But I didn't appreciate that very much. It was a physical game, and it was a game that was important for the Leafs, and they did treat it as such. Now they were outplayed, but um, they got the win, which was important to them without key players in their lineup. So I think
Yeah.
that's what they take away from that. Now, what I found interesting was that Cooper's comments after the game made me laugh. So he said that neither team can take anything away from it.
Yeah.
There was no intensity to the game. It was an exhibition game, right? So I
This
love
guy's
that
playing
because
chess.
yeah, and like, but the thing is that like you can see right through what he's doing, right? Like there's
Yeah.
like there's a lot of gamesmanship there in those comments. You knew that Toronto wanted to win that game, and you don't want to give them any sort of perceived mental edge with beating you in Tampa Bay with a depleted lineup and all their
Yeah.
roster issues. So yeah, whatever. It wasn't a physical game. It was just an exhibition game. Nobody can take anything away from it. So I thought that was fun. I just love shit like that, right? So we have to wait and see about the Rangers. It does look like they'll play everyone. Obviously, I think the Leafs are going to play everyone with a Wall starting in net. But we do need to wait and see who's starting for the Rangers. I think that this could be a spot for Halak. I do want to play the Leafs here, but
Oh
if
my god, again, so money. You're gonna
uh,
kill me.
yeah, well, no, well, you just scared me. I thought that we got some sort of goalie information. I was like,
No,
what did
no,
I
it's
miss?
you. You keep playing the Leafs here, and the pressure keeps coming on me. And I'm sitting here. Obviously, I want the team to win, but I'm sweating these out because I know you've got the Leafs to win as well. So I'm sitting there like, oh no, this is gonna come on me, and I'm gonna get
Well,
berated online.
Well, we're gonna have a lot of Leafs plays the next month or so. So, I think I think you need to be like prepared for that. But I am waiting for the Rangers goalie news. If it is Shesterkin, obviously the Rangers are gonna take money, and we're gonna get a better number on the Leafs. And then if
Right.
if it is Halak, that number is gonna drop. So, as of right now, I do want to play the Leafs. We just have to wait until we get a better number. So, um, yeah, I can't do it right now, but I
Okay.
will I will be on the Leafs for sure. It's just a matter of where the market takes it once the Rangers information comes in. If we get like plus 118 on the Leafs with Shesterkin in goal, like I would do that. If we get plus 112 right now with Halak in goal, I would do that as well. So I am on the Leafs. I just want to get the best number that I can.
Okay, so we're not going to play anything there. We'll wait on that information in terms of goaltending. Now, so money. This is a game where there are
So
some milestones. You talked about.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, 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 no. I was just gonna go to that. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Where we talked about Braden Point, one away from 50. Now, in the Leafs game, I kind of teased it earlier. Marner at 99, one away from 100. Matthews, 299 in his career. He's already hit the 40 for this season, so that's done with. The 300, not necessarily the most pressing, but the other one that is kind of currently sitting there, William Nylander, 39, one away from 40 as well, would be at his first 40-goal season. We can dig into some of these. Today would be a good day to have. I don't know what he wants to be called. We have Toddy props on the Tuesdays. I don't know if it's like if he wants to go with because Rusty props. Like I don't know what Russ wants to be called. This would have been his heyday here, but we'll start. We'll go through some of these. Is there a player that you want to key in on first, and how do you want to approach it?
Before we go there, we have breaking news. Elliot is gonna start.
Okay,
Um, so that changes things here for me a bit. Um, yeah, let's go.
pulling it up here
Yeah,
for you.
it's not there for me yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so I do have a look on the over here, so I think we can go. We can actually go over 6.5. Um,
All right.
just I'm just send that out too.
No worries. Okay, so over 6.5. There's plus 100. There are still minus 103, minus
Yeah,
104,
yeah,
plus
that plus money
102s
six and a half.
available. Okay, we'll
Yeah,
lock that in here.
let me just see
Uh,
what that what I can go up to here. Yeah, six and a half to minus 113.
Okay. So there is all the way up through to minus 110 available out there. There's still plus monies on the board. So make sure to jump on that real quick if you are interested in playing that game and reacting to that Brian Elliott news. So as Jordan Most was saying here, Elliott alert. Appreciate the updates here in the chat. But there you go. So we locked that one in over 6.5 plus 100 in the Tampa Bay game. Um, Now back to the player props here in the Toronto, New York game. So money. Where would you want to start? Is there a player you'd be looking at more than another? Like how would you kind of be looking at this game?
So in my very elementary analysis of player props, I did play the over shots for a Nylander. I
Okay.
think that um, Marner will be in position to get his point, and I think that that he will. I'm not sure how the market works for anytime points, if there is such a thing, but
Yes, there
yeah, I'm
are.
sure there is. But I wouldn't know how to price that. But with Nylander's shots on goal, I did play that there
Okay.
3.5. Yeah.
3.5 plus 120. You see plus 110s, plus 107s available as well. So this is a decently available number. You can get Canby books plus 120 available right now. So make sure to check that. We will play that, and I'll just show people here who have any interest right now. Mitch Marner points. Oh, looks like they're only pulling in goals right now. So points is just not even being listed for him. Um,
Can't
it's
blame
just
them.
not there. And Austin Matthews, no props available currently at this time. So there you go. Those are just not even available. So we played the Nylander over 3.5 plus 120 for shots on goal. All right, there you go. There's the bet stamp. Our guy Jeff in the chat here saying bug on that, fixing now. So Jeff will have that fixed during the course of the show. But yeah, there you go. So anybody else who's looking to play that, you can check those out. Now, next game, the Pittsburgh Penguins missed the
Oof.
playoffs for the first time in 16 seasons. So money. This is the first time since 2006 that the NHL playoffs do not feature either of Sidney Crosby or Alex Ovechkin. It is the changing of the guard here in the NHL. Moving on over this, I think this is the last of the ability for the Pittsburgh Penguins to compete for a cup. These guys all come back next year. They are older. Their GM and their president of hockey ops seem to be operating like dinosaurs, making crazy trades at the deadline for Mikhail Granlund that made absolutely zero sense. I think they kind of have just put themselves in a position where they could potentially be, that's it for them. Now going up here tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Columbus coming into this one on a 4-game losing streak, but looking at Pittsburgh here tonight, minus 182. You look at plus 182 on the other side on Columbus. Do you even want to get involved in this game tonight?
No, no. I was looking back, like first time since 26 since 2006 they missed the playoffs, but then you zoom out and they've got 3 rings, right? So I don't
Yeah.
right. So like
They've
I
done
don't
all
feel
right.
yeah, they did okay. And then I was looking back at what I was doing in 2006, and I was hustling Canucks tickets while running around trying to finish up school. So yeah, I mean it's like a long time, right? There is a lot of narrative here. It's really tough for me to imagine how the Penguins get up here.
Yeah.
Of a veteran team who blew it in such embarrassing fashion. Now they go into Columbus play out the string. I think it's going to be tough for them. Sullivan also said that lineup decisions for the game tonight will depend on the Islanders' results. So that kind of obviously lets you know that he's going to be sitting a lot of guys. Now, there
Yeah,
is something to be said with Crosby and Malkin playing 82 games together. Um, could be the last time for this core together. So maybe you want to do that. But on the other hand, Columbus is terrible. They so the Penguins can probably just sleepwalk their way to a win. The Blue Jackets are also going to be having 4 to 5 guys here making their NHL debuts. So and like these
right.
are guys that I follow closely. There's a couple of them I've never even heard of. So um, if I haven't even heard of them, would have no idea how to price it. So this is
Yeah.
a game that I'll be staying away from. Yeah, I got nothing here. I don't want anything to do with this game.
All right, fair enough. All right, let's get a little bit crazy before we move on to the next game. I'm just gonna ask you, hypothetical. Do all three of Letang, Crosby, and Malkin play in a Pittsburgh Penguins uniform next season? All three.
Yes,
Okay.
I and the reason I say that is because I think that especially if they fire the GM, I think that usually in these situations when you have like a veteran core, then the new GM um, gives the core a year, and this is also to buy himself some time as well, right?
Right.
So he gets 1 free year of kind of assessing the lineup, so that if things go if things go south, then he can pass the buck to like we wanted this core to get 1 more year. So I think that all three are back, and then but beyond that, if if they struggle next year, then I think that it gets blown up. Now, if they keep Hextall, then in order for Hextall to save his job, then I don't think all three are going to come back.
Okay, interesting. So you're saying there's more like there's a light good chance here Hextall is gone this
I think so.
offseason. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
fair. I guess follow up on that. If new GM comes in, all three stay, this team's not doing well trade deadline, then do they move on from
Yeah.
somebody? Okay.
Absolutely.
All
Yeah.
right.
Definitely.
Now, looking at the team that everyone kind of speculated a couple years ago, I don't know if you remember the rumors. I think it was a year or 2 years ago that potentially Crosby could be on the move to was the Colorado Avalanche. There was all that circling around with him going and joining with Nathan McKinnon. Don't know how that would have worked cap wise at the time, but nonetheless, they were out there. It was fun rumors to follow along with. And Colorado here tonight currently sitting in second in the Central. They're a point back of Dallas. They do have 2 games remaining, including one tomorrow. So they have a game in hand on the Stars. You're going to need to win both of these games to kind of lock in yourself a position to move forward and take on first in the Central there. I saw someone earlier in the chat was saying they were waiting on or hoping for some Avalanche Central Division futures to cash through. So they're going to need that from Colorado here. Now, Winnipeg holding on to the second wildcard spot in the West. They did just lock that up. Now, coming into this on a 3-game win streak on the road, plus 175 against the Avalanche. Obviously, some of the importance of this game for the Avalanche versus what it is for the Jets is going to be priced into this a little bit. Yet again, is there any opportunity for you to jump in and have any type of play in this game, So Money?
It looks like the Jets are going to be sitting a lot of guys. It looks like that, as they should. Hellebuck is finally going to get a night off. Um, it's all there for Colorado. And the thing with Colorado too is that there's a lot of teams that you kind of envision them playing down to their opponent. I don't really see that with Colorado. They're a team that has been there even in that Edmonton game. They were undermanned, but and the Oilers deservingly won that game, which was great for everybody involved. But I think that Colorado's a team that's not going to take this game lightly. They know that they do want to win that division, and it especially like based on Bednar's comments. One thing he said that really stuck with me. I think he said this like last week or something when he was asked about what he feels about the division. He said that it really means a lot to them based on what they went through this season, right? So like a lot of times you would think that a team that just won the Stanley Cup, why do they care about winning the division at this point? But to a man, with all the injuries that this team has had, it does matter to them, and
Right.
it is something that would be good for them as a team to win the division, even with everything that they've been through this year. So I think that those comments from Bednar really stuck out to me. So I don't have a I don't see Colorado playing down to their opponent now. With now you look at the price of the game, and I think based on everything, in terms of where this game is, I think that it is it is accurately priced now. Once confirmation comes out about Winnipeg resting their guys, I think that there is going to be value on Colorado here. So even through the -190s, -195s, with with a Riddick in goal and Winnipeg confirming that they're going to be sitting guys, their their morning skate was optional, so we're not going to get much information until the media availability, which should be around I guess around 6, or I would say around 4 o'clock their time, so which would be 5 Eastern, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think that or yeah, something like that. Work out the timing. It'll be 4 o'clock Mountain time. So you guys figure that out. But
Yes.
once Winnipeg gets their confirmations, and I think that that there's going to be value on Colorado later in the day.
All right, so wait on that. Nothing as of right now. I see a bunch of people in the chat saying that they played Colorado, and Sean York here saying Colorado wins by, I think he means at least 2, not at least 5. But Daniel H saying hammered Colorado puck line last night plus 150. So a bunch of people got in on that, and somebody I didn't realize this, but Daniel H also saying fun fact: Dallas had a
Oh, wow.
16-point lead in January. I did not realize it was that much. I knew they were up a good amount, but did not realize
16-point
16
lead.
points. Yeah, Colorado really turned it on over the last little while. Um, and an update here from BetStamp Dev, our guy Jeff McBride in the chat. Looks like Marner props just aren't
Yeah.
out yet, so not available. That's why they are not being pulled in as of right now. But moving on, next game here. This was the team that Colorado is looking to catch up to in the standings. Dallas currently sitting that point ahead of them, 8-2 in their last 10. They're coming into this one on a 5-game win streak, facing off against St. Louis, who's coming in on a 2-game win streak themselves. Now, looking at the odds here, this is getting a little long on Dallas, -238. Is this justified
Yeah.
for Dallas at home against St. Louis? Is this a little too expensive?
I think it's too expensive, especially because the Blues, they do want to play out the string strong. Everything coming out of the camp, and we've talked about this the last couple of weeks. The Blues are a veteran team that does want to end the season the right way. Yesterday's game kind of got away from them a little bit, because just too many power plays, and just St. Louis just it just kind of snowballed on them a bit,
Yeah.
in that second period. So I think it's a little bit long right now. I do like the Blues here. I did play them small, but um, I haven't made it a full play yet because I'm just waiting for some, making sure that the I'm not surprised with any lineup information from the Blues.
Right.
So I think we can go ahead and lock it in small. I've got it small as well, and I'm just hoping that we're not surprised by anything.
You want to go a half unit here on the Blues?
Half unit, yeah.
Okay, so there you go. Half unit Blues money line plus 215. Currently best price available, and that seems to be relatively close to that, a bunch across a bunch of different books. Somebody, what would you play this down to? Obviously you're waiting on some news, but if somebody can't get, for some reason, can't get access to the plus 215, which if you can't or you don't have this book, I think now would be the best time to sign up for it. And you can do that using the betstamp.app/edgework to sign up and get these sports books. But where would you kind of look to on this?
So my fare without any of the subjective elements to this game was 170. Now,
Okay.
yeah, so like there's a long way to go, but you do need to make an adjustment for the for the subjective analysis
Subjective.
here as well.
For sure. Okay. And Daniel H saying, I will probably pop a bottle of something if Dallas loses this game. I hope tomorrow morning, Daniel, you come to the show with Rob and I and tell us about the crazy night that you had. So I'll be in support of that for you, especially with the bet that we just locked in here on St.
We're all
Louis. So
Daniel tonight.
we are all Daniel tonight. All right. Moving on here. Minnesota Wild on the road at Nashville. I mean, so many before we even get into this one. Nashville, finally, they're dead. The Nashville Predators are dead. I keep seeing in the chat everyone talking about Nashville. When will they die? When will they die? I even saw you the other day talking about one day we'll get to stop talking about the Nashville Predators. But tonight, we're talking about the Predators, minus 111 favored against the Minnesota Wild. What's going on there with Nashville? Why are they favored against the Wild tonight?
So we always talk about why isn't Nashville dead yet? But I want to bet them tonight, and of course, right? And the reason is that Minnesota, not only are they sitting out guys, their roster is depleted right now, bunch of injuries. Their
Mm-hmm.
I believe their farm team is in a playoff race or in the playoffs. So there's some consideration there as well. So um, Minnesota is going to be severely depleted now. Um, I do want to play Nashville. The problem is that tonight's game is at home and tomorrow's game is at home. So I don't know which one Saros gets. So it's if it is Saros tonight with the depleted Minnesota lineup, I want to play Nashville. If they want to go with Saros tomorrow, then I will sit out this game. So it's gonna come down to that. I'm still waiting for the Nashville news there, but I do want to bet the Predators. As crazy as that sounds, I do want to be on them tonight.
Okay, so nothing right now. Wait on news. But the Predators, we killed them, and then now we're somehow just bringing them back to life a little bit.
It's just
One
the way
more
it works.
time for us, please.
It's just the way it works.
Yeah. Okay, but leaving it for now. And so you get that news. Let's just say, so it's minus 111 right now. What price would you be comfortable playing them to? Say Saros is playing tonight, and you are going to back them.
With Sorrows, I would play them up to minus 119.
Okay.
And then without Sorrows, I got nothing.
Okay. All right. Sounds good there. Now, next one we'll look at this Philadelphia Flyers on the road at the Chicago Blackhawks. As far as this one goes, Philly had been playing a little bit better lately in terms of their actual like metrics and their style of play. Now leading into this one, Chicago coming off of a big win against the Pittsburgh Penguins the other night, where they ended the Penguins season essentially. And you're looking at this one minus 112 favored for Philly, plus 102 for Chicago. Any interest at all for you so money between these two teams?
Besides watching Jonathan Tay's last game,
Right.
even though he's killed me for many years, um, I, I do respect him as a player. So
Yeah.
I think it'd be nice for him to get a nice send off tonight, and I hope he does. But other than that, I've got nothing here.
Okay, so we'll move on from this one relatively quickly and just leave it at that. Nothing here between Philly and Chicago. Next game, San Jose and your Edmonton Oilers. So money. I know which side you'd be leaning to from a emotional perspective, but from a numbers perspective tonight, minus 455, best price available on the Oilers. What are we talking about here? Is this too expensive, or is this you're all in on these guys no matter what? What's going on here with the Oilers tonight?
I'm not laying that price tonight. Um, yeah, we are emotionally all Oilers tonight. But in terms of the price, I think that San Jose on a back to back on the road, um, what this game means to Edmonton, I think that that's all been priced in. Usually, Edmonton does play down to their opponent. They will win with the margin that they need to.
Yeah.
I know San Jose played them tough a couple of weeks ago, maybe you can make a case for betting San Jose on the spread plus plus 1.5. Maybe you'll even get like a plus 2.5 or something. But
Yeah.
um, I just don't know what kind of lineup I'm going to get out of San Jose. So for that reason, I will pass. If this was a couple of weeks ago, you could make a case. Oh, I would be making a stronger case for betting the Sharks on the spread, but we wouldn't get that number, right? So everything's been
Yeah.
captured. So I'll be sitting this one out. But of
Okay.
course, we are all Oilers.
Yes, emotionally tonight we are all Oilers for so money. Jeff McBride asked San Jose plus 2.5 minus
Yeah.
105. That was available. Is that a price that would be? I mean, obviously we are passing on this one as a show for tonight, but like, is that a price that would be have any type of interest for you? And what kind of lineups would you have to get from San Jose for that to be a play?
Well, I would need a lineup that shows me that they're taking the game seriously for me
Yep.
to bet any money on San Jose, even at a plus 2.5. So because if they're not taking this game seriously and if they're just playing out the string, that means that the Oilers are going to name their number here, and
Right.
the only avenue we have is that, well, the Oilers may just want to just win this game, like and not exert themselves. So that's not something that I want to be betting on. So
Right.
yeah, for that reason, I would need like pretty concrete evidence that San Jose is taking this game seriously, and I don't think we'll get that until we see the teams hit the ice for the warmups.
Okay. Jordan Mosley saying that's a hold your nose special. Yes,
Yeah.
that is. All right. Couple games left here. Next one, we got to talk about your Vancouver Canucks on the road at Arizona tonight. Vancouver closed the season out strong here, 5-3-2 in their last 10. Start to get some of these guys just on the right track before heading into next season. But it does give me a little bit of concern for you, so money, that you might just be heading down the exact same road that you went down last year. You know the recycle meme
Yeah.
or thing where it's like, okay, play well at the end of the season, have hope for next year. Team's not actually that good. Bottom out. It's just repeats, rinse, repeat. Is that what's going on with the Canucks right now? Or are we actually seeing a team that is actually turning around and could be on the right track? And would you be interested in a minus 145 on the road at Arizona, who has been decent at home this year, 21-15-4?
So for the Canucks, on a holistic level, I've always felt that they're a better team than what their record indicates and what the scoreboard says. They they lost a lot of man games to injuries, both um, and really in areas that they just couldn't afford to, in goal and on defense. So I think that ended up costing them. There were a lot of games where they were able to build up leads during the games, which I do give a team credit for.
Yeah,
But they ended up losing. Also, Demko, not really his best season, but he also played through a lot of injuries as well. So
yeah,
now I'm not rushing to lay this number on the Canucks. I did have a play in this game. I played um over 2.5 shots for Kuzmenko. He's at let's see if we can bring it up there.
where did it go?
Yeah, so he's at a milestone right now.
Yeah.
So I think that it it should be up there. He's at a
Oh, I
milestone right
passed
now.
it.
Sorry?
I passed
Yeah.
it. That was my bad. Yeah.
Yeah, he is at a milestone right now. He's at 39.
Okay.
Rookie season getting 40. You better believe that it means a lot to him. So I did bet that over on his shots.
Okay. Looks like it's down here right now. I'm seeing some of his other props listed, but no shots on
Oh, they
goal for
took it down.
Kuzmenko. Yeah. So check on your books and see if those are available. But it looks like they probably were taken down. Biskov here saying Kuzmenko gone on both on his books. So there you go. Like, Kuzmenko seems to be being pulled around. But yes, so over 2.5 shots on goal. You can play that. But there you go. All right. So nothing else in that one. If it comes back up, we can track that Kuzmenko one. Couple more games here tonight. Close this one out. Finishing off strong in the West here. The LA Kings on the road at the Anaheim Ducks. LA third in the Pacific, 5-5 in their last 10. They have no ability to catch up to the Edmonton Oilers at this point. Now facing off against an Anaheim team that has been terrible. They've sucked basically all year, and then the last little while has just been even worse for them. 0-8-2 in their last 10, 12 game losing streak, 12-24-4 at home as well. Minus 220 for the Kings here tonight on the road against Anaheim. Is this accurately priced here tonight, so money?
I think it's accurately priced, but I will say that I don't that Anaheim has actually played decent the last little bit. Of course, the bar is set so low for them, so that's not saying too much. But I do think that this could be a tricky situation for the Kings on the road in Anaheim. Now, it's not something that I want to get involved with, but if this number, because I do think it's fair, but if this number drifts out to where we can get like a plus 205, plus 210 on the Ducks, that would be something that I do have interest in.
Okay. So nothing as it is right now, but I mean, you get to the 205 mark, then that's something that could be playable for people out there watching right now. So even if you're listening back or watching back later in the day, so then that's where you're looking for. I'll go back quickly here, so money to this Canucks game to the Kuzmenko props for goals. I see someone in the chat, MH Albany, asking plus 140 anytime goal of Kuzmenko. I know that wasn't, you were looking more at the shots on goal, but even if we pull this up here, he is plus 170. You can find plus 160s available. Would a Kuzmenko goal be of interest to you?
Not at the plus 140 because there's um like the market is much higher, but I don't spend, or I haven't spent a lot of time on anytime goals, so it's not something that I would know how to price at this point.
Yeah.
I am spending most of my props time on shots on goal, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's that I wouldn't have a good read on his shots on his goals.
All right. Final game here tonight. Now, I'm a little bit confused. I sent you a link yesterday that I watched a video of where Jack Eichel was on the Pat McAfee show, and they told him that if he got a hat trick in one of the final games of the season, then they would donate $100,000 to a charity of his choice. And he said, "Okay, tomorrow night I'm going to be shooting the puck a lot." But I didn't see any confirmation of him playing tonight. I haven't seen anything come out. Has you seen anything here tonight for Jack Eichel in this game for Vegas against Seattle?
I think he is going to play.
Okay.
Um, yeah, just based on him skating yesterday and kind of the comments that came out, I think
Yeah.
that they do want to get him a game here. So I would be operating under the assumption that he is going to play.
Okay. And now, with that in mind, thinking he could play here, would you have? Is there anything that you're looking at between Vegas and Seattle? I mean, Vegas currently they're going on the road tonight at Seattle. They are first in the Pacific. They need 1 point to stay ahead of Edmonton and secure that in the standings there as it stands right now. Because currently they're at 109 points. 107 is where Edmonton is. So even Edmonton getting a win here tonight, as long as Vegas gets 1 point, they can stay ahead of Edmonton and lock up first in the Pacific. That's going to be an important piece for them tonight, even pushing to overtime. How would you look at playing this one if you do have any plays in this game?
So besides but besides the Eichel shots,
Yeah,
which I would have some interest in based on what he's talking about,
yeah,
I do have interest in Seattle, but this is another game where I need to see how seriously they're taking this game. There is some talk that, well, maybe it's better if they do end up losing this game, to make sure that Vegas gets the top seed and they get slotted in against the against either Colorado or Dallas. but
Right.
that doesn't make much sense to me either. Like why? Like
Yeah.
ideally, if you're Seattle, you would want to play the Kings at this point, but that's not going to happen. So I don't know why you would be looking at that, um, but we would need to see who their starting goalie is in order to determine how seriously they're taking this game. If it's going to be Martin Jones, or Joey Daccord, who's actually been okay, then I would have no interest. But as crazy as it sounds, I'm waiting for a Grubauer confirmation in order to bet on him. So if we get that, then I would play Seattle, even down to plus 105.
Okay. All right. So we'll keep that in mind for goalie confirmations and stuff. But so money, that is the entire slate we have gone through here today. All of tonight's games, jam-packed schedule. So we'll recap the picks that we have here tonight, and we'll talk about some of the ones that we had some interest in, just for people out there, if you can find them on some of the books. Some of them seem to be down on some of the props that we had any interest in. Like I even pulled up Eichel there. No shots on goal props released on him yet. You can find goals plus 170 for him tonight, but in terms of shots on goal, not available yet. So to recap all of our bets for tonight, currently looking here on the BetStamp app and what we have where you can track all the picks throughout the course of the season in the Find Better section as Edgework HQ. Start at the top. We got the Tampa Bay Lightning Detroit Red Wings game over 6 plus 100 for a full unit there. That is the over 6.5 plus 100 for a full unit. Then we also go continuing in that game, Braden Point over 2.5 shots on goal minus 122 full unit there as well. Braden Point over 2.5 shots on goal minus 122. Next game we go to, we're taking the Florida Panthers money line minus 110 tonight against the Carolina Hurricanes full unit as well. Florida Panthers minus 110 money line full unit against the Carolina Hurricanes. Next up, we're taking the Ottawa Senators plus 120 money line against the Buffalo Sabres for a half unit in this one. That's the Senators money line plus 120 for a half unit. Next, we have William Nylander over 3.5 shots on goal plus 120 for a full unit. Nylander over 3.5 shots on goal plus 120 full unit. And final bet of the night, we're taking the St. Louis Blues money line for a half unit against the Dallas Stars. St. Louis money line plus 215 for a half unit against the Dallas Stars. Some other ones to keep an eye on for tonight would be obviously Kuzmenko shots on goal if you could find those, Marner points if those become available. What else do we have? So many that to look for. Jack Eichel shots on goal, and then what was the other one? The Leafs.
Toronto.
Yes, so keep an eye out for those with
and
goalie information.
and possibly Seattle as well.
Right, and Seattle for goalie information as well there. So make sure to, if you guys are watching back later, you might be able to find some of these prices, or listening back later, you might be able to find some prices now available with some of the new information that comes out. And I don't, here's a pick here from Insight. I don't know where this came from, but Insight saying 2023 RBC Heritage Tournament winner Victor Hovland plus 29.66 at Penny. There you go. I just bring that up because Insight's given us some bets before in here that have won, never a golf pick, so I can't back this myself, but Insight being in here the entire season, commenting and giving picks and information, so appreciate that from Insight. And there you go. If you want to tail Insight, there's Victor Hovland, tournament winner, so many. I don't know if you're going to run and go bet that after the show, but appreciate the time this year. So money, appreciate you doing this today. This has been a long show, but we have tons of games that we got to go through and break them all down as we wrap up the regular season. A lot of these teams finishing up here tonight. 2 more games tomorrow, so Rob and I will be back for that. But So Money, thank you for taking the time to do this. You can find more from So Money and myself coming up over the next couple of days. We will have playoff series previews coming out, breaking down those series prices, different markets that you could play in those, whether it be playoff props, spreads in the series, anything like that. It'll all be broken down over the next couple of days on the Edgework HQ YouTube channel. So Thank you so money. Thank you to everyone who tuned in here today. And for our final show of the regular season, you can find us back here tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time with myself and Rob Pizzola. And to everyone out there, so money, you as well. Good luck on your bets tonight.